Your life may not be stressful because you have too much to do. It may be stressful because you keep carrying tiny unfinished tasks everywhere you go. Reply to one email, book the dentist, return the parcel, pay the parking ticket, move the laundry, cancel the subscription. Each one looks harmless, but unfinished tasks behave like open tabs in your brain. You may not be actively thinking about them, yet part of your attention is still holding on to them. And that is where the 5-minute rule can change your day. Here's the rule. If a task genuinely takes 5 minutes or less, and doing it now will not damage something more important, complete it immediately. If it takes longer, capture it, decide when it will happen, and get it out of your head. Simple? Yes. Automatic? Not quite. Because the mistake people make is treating the 5-minute rule like permission to interrupt themselves all day. That is how productivity turns into answering messages while the important work quietly catches fire. So let's look at how this works through two people, Frank and Max. Frank wakes up on Monday with a small problem. His electricity bill is due tomorrow. It will take about 3 minutes to pay. He tells himself he'll do it after breakfast. After breakfast, he remembers it during his commute. At work, he remembers it while opening a spreadsheet. At lunch, he thinks, I really need to do that tonight. By the time he gets home, he's tired. He forgets. 2 days later, there's a late fee. The payment itself took 3 minutes. But Frank spent small pieces of mental energy remembering it, postponing it, and worrying about it. Then the delay created an avoidable cost. This is the first use of the rule. Small, clear, low-risk tasks should not become permanent residents in your mind. If it takes 5 minutes and you are already in a suitable moment to do it, finish it. Send the confirmation. Put the appointment in your calendar. Wash the cup before it becomes a solids project. Reply with the simple answer. Put the item by the door so you actually remember it. Do not create a task management system for a task that could have disappeared in 5 minutes. But now, meet Max. Max hears the same rule and decides every new request must be handled instantly. An email arrives, so he stops writing. A notification appears, so he checks it. Someone asks a quick question, and Max immediately switches away from the report he has been working on. Technically, many of those interruptions take less than 5 minutes. Practically, they destroy his afternoon. After every interruption, Max has to remember where he was, reopen the problem, and rebuild his concentration. The quick task was not quick. It also charged him an attention fee. So here's the part most people leave out. The 5-minute rule is not do everything immediately. It is remove small tasks immediately when the context makes that sensible. Context matters. If you are already checking email, handle the tiny email that can genuinely be finished in 5 minutes. If you are paying bills, pay the simple bill. If you are standing up to leave, take the parcel with you. But if you are in the middle of deep work, protect the work. A useful idea is to separate your day into 2 modes. The first is reactive mode. This is when you are handling messages, errands, admin, and small decisions. In this mode, the 5-minute rule is powerful. Clear the tiny tasks instead of letting them pile up. The second is focused mode. This is when you are studying, writing, designing, solving a difficult problem, or doing anything that needs sustained attention. In this mode, interruptions are expensive, even when they are short. When a small task appears during focused mode, do not trust your memory. Capture it in one place. Write, email Sam, book dentist, or check invoice. Then, return to the work. At a scheduled point later, process that list in batches. This solves 2 problems at once. You stop carrying the task in your mind, and you stop allowing every tiny request to control your calendar. Now let's make the rule more precise. Complete a task immediately when 3 conditions are true. It takes about 5 minutes or less. It is genuinely clear what done means, and completing it will not interrupt something more valuable. Schedule it when it needs more time, preparation, information, or several steps. Sort out my finances is not a 5-minute task. Open the banking app and download last month's statement might be. Break the large task into a small next action. Then, schedule the bigger block. And protect deep work when the task is small, but the timing is bad. That last point is where a lot of productivity advice becomes unhelpful. Speed is not the same as progress. Reacting quickly can feel responsible, while quietly preventing you from doing the work that actually matters. Imagine Max is preparing a presentation due Friday. At 9 in the morning, he receives a message asking whether he wants chicken or pasta at next month's office event. That question may take 30 seconds to answer, but if it pulls him away from the presentation, it is not a 30-second task anymore. It is a disruption to the most important block of his day. Max can write it down and answer during his afternoon admin window. Frank, meanwhile, has a 15-minute gap before an appointment. He sees a 2-minute message from his landlord asking him to confirm a repair time. He handles it immediately. No drama, no mental tab left open. Same rule, different context. You can start using this today with a simple 3-step reset. First, make a quick list of the small tasks currently floating around your head. Do not organize your entire life. Just empty the mental clutter onto paper or into one trusted note. Second, mark each task with one decision. Now, schedule, or delete. Now means it takes 5 minutes or less and will not interrupt important work. Schedule means it needs a proper time or a longer block. Delete means it is not actually necessary. This category is surprisingly powerful. Some tasks survive only because nobody has questioned them. Third, create one small admin window each day. It might be 15 or 30 minutes after lunch, before dinner, or near the end of your workday. During that window, complete the quick tasks in batches. And when you enter focused work, silence the notifications, keep a capture note nearby, and refuse to negotiate with every distraction that arrives wearing a tiny hat and calling itself urgent. The 5-minute rule will not make every day effortless. Bills will still appear. Emails will still multiply. Someone will still send a message that says, "Quick question," followed by a paragraph with 3 bullet points. But the rule gives you a way to stop small tasks from becoming large sources of stress. Finish the genuinely tiny things when the moment is right. Schedule what deserves a real block of time, and protect your attention when the important work is underway. A calmer life is not built by reacting faster to everything. It is built by deciding what gets your attention, when it gets it, and what no longer deserves space in your head.